Hi, everybody. Thank you for showing up this morning. I'm Mr. Frazier, the assistant principal. Dr. Neal, I think, is still welcoming people in the door or waiting on people to come through the door. We're so excited for this year, and I know you're excited for your babies that are now in kindergarten to have a great year. If you ever have questions or anything, don't hesitate ever to contact myself. That's Mr. Frazier or Dr. Neal with any questions you may have. These ladies behind me will go through everything that happens in kindergarten and the day and all the information you need to know if you don't already know.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, you want to just introduce yourselves?
I'm Miss Dickens. Miss Dell or Miss Sarah, they call me both.
I'm Miss Edward.
I'm Miss Sexton.
Miss Vardo.
I'm Miss Webb, I'm the ESOL teacher for kindergarten.
And I'm Miss Collins, and I'm the EIP reading and math support.
All right, we have two paraprofessionals that support the classrooms. We have Miss Couch or Miss Cheyenne.
Yeah.
The kids, you hear the kids call her Miss Cheyenne, and then Miss Johnson or Miss Danielle. Here's our daily schedule. Some of the schedules vary based on when we have the para support or the ESOL support in our classrooms. But as you see, we have a jam-packed day. Bell rings at 7, with the day starting at 7:30. Morning meeting, right into structured literacy. We're in our specials now, which is art, music, PE, STEAM. Then we have our guided reading, full group reading, lunch, straight into writing, out for a little recess break, and then we come in for math and science and social studies. Attendance is very important. Of course, if you're throwing up, if you're sick, we want you to stay home. But if all possible, we want you here and on time. Like I said, we hit the ground running right at 7:30, so try to be here right before that bell rings.
Okay, and I'm Miss Sexton. So if you have not done so already, we have a parent portal on Infinite Campus. This is pretty much how you guys can get in and take a look over their, so it's like their checklist and things that we put in for when that time comes for you to see how they're doing, what they're doing, and when they're doing it, they're achieving what they need to do. And then this year we have Parent Square. I'm sure maybe some of you guys attended pre-K last year and we had Remind, but this year we have Parent Square. So if you haven't done so already, this is a great way for us as teachers and you as parents to stay communicated with one another anytime you need something. During the day, it might be hard for us to get back with you, but as soon as we get the opportunity, we will definitely touch base with you.
Raise your hand. Is everybody in Parent Square now?
Yes,
So during the summer, I know the district tried to send out a couple emails, or I don't know if they did text or email, to kind of get you pushed over from Remind to Parent Square. So if you haven't done so, just make sure you do that, because all of our communication, basically teachers and your daily that you might want to shoot them a message during the day, is done through Parent Square now instead of Remind.
Yes. Or we also have our pause binder. We send a binder home every afternoon. This is also another way for you guys to communicate with us if need be, if transportation changes, anything that you need to get to us. We check the binders every day. They go home every day. So any type of communication can be done through both these ways. Some of our reading expectations for kindergarten is recognizing and naming all uppercase and lowercase letters, providing that they know the consonants, the 21 consonants, the 10 vowel sounds, long and short, blending sounds to read words. We also have sight words. That's kind of a little few minutes here, but that we have sight words that we work on. Also irregular words, which are heart words, which are pretty much words that they know, by heart. And then we need to have them trying to write at least 2 to 3 sentences with a matching picture. So that is something else that we're working on, is learning to start sentences with uppercase letters, punctuation at the end, finger spaces. Some of our math expectations, hopefully by the end of the year we've got everybody on board counting to 100 out loud by ones and tens. They need to be at least able to count 20 objects out one by one, fluently adding and subtracting within 5. And then they need to start beginning to add and subtract within 10. So recognizing and naming numbers all the way through 20, starting with 0. They they need to recognize 2Ds and 3D shapes. And then they should be able to solve addition and subtraction word problems, again, just within that 0 to 5 bracket. This is another way you guys can help at home. We send these home in the binder. I'm sure most of you have already seen them. Some of them have nonsense words, the uppercase and lowercase letters. As often as you can, please try to go over this with them at home, because this is stuff that we are working on all throughout the day. Whether it be with flashcards, learning how to, match their uppercase, lowercase letters, all of the above.
Okay, and so just to tag along with Ms. Sexton, how we do this is to get them ready for their DIBELS assessment. And it's an assessment that we are due 3 times in a year. And so it's kind of like a game that we want you guys to use this, and it changes every month, so they will not memorize the letters. And in the assessments, it's going to be a 1 minute, so you can put like a 1 minute timer at home and say, okay, tell me the letters. And like Miss Dow's going to be the kid right now, and I'm going to be okay. They have to be able to see like the timer to make them be more playful, because they're all about competition at 5 years old. And I'm going to be like, go!
K, F, W, M, Z, G,
A little
W,
faster.
R, D, B, D, R, C, F, D.
Okay, so like the faster we get them, and I know that you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, all these letters, but we have seen students saying 72, 80 letters per minute, because they go K, F, M, C. Like they're already like, they love the game, and that helps you as a parent understand that they have the fluency, they're recognizing the letters, and you can practice letter sounds. And I'm like, switch it out from like letters to letter sounds, like and like that's how they're gonna go. But they are very excited when they see the little, you can be like, hey Siri, set up a 1 minute timer, go! And then you just scratch it. Like a lot of you guys have like expo markers from the binders. Just scratch them as they go, and then you can like, kind of like say, okay, you did 27, and then we will send a sheet that tells you like how many they should kind of be around. And like the goal of the end of the year is at least to be able to do like 42 in a minute. But if they go higher, even better, because they will be super ready for first grade. Okay. Oh, that's me. Letter recognition is the very first skill that the children need to be learning when becoming readers. When letter recognition comes first, phonemic awareness and decoding, and is the foundation for reading. So that's why it's very important for them to recognize all the letters. But first, like the letters of their name. They have to remember what are the letters of the name and what are the sounds of the letters of their name. There's like just like a little picture up here, but you can put different letters in there, and they can just put on the side what are the letters of their names and what are not the letters of their name. This is the list of sight words that we have. And we did make a little bit of tweaks this past year because of how we were looking at the new curriculum. So a couple of words in the module 2 have moved to module 1 because we are already introducing those, and we will make those changes as we go along. We have a parent newsletter that's going to go every month with like all the books that we are reading in the classroom and the sight words. So that will be the update on the new sight words in there. I know that there's like 4 right here right now, or irregular, and the ones that they can decode by themselves. But we want to be able to add them right here that I think is like I, like, because, and in, because they're using it right now as they're starting to write and sounding things out. And play. So it's 120 words that we send, and we tell you like when we start module, like right now we're doing module 1, and we have 1 more week of module 1, and then we move into module 2. And this ones right here are the ones that they have to memorize or remembering by heart. And this ones right here, we try to make sure that they sound them out so they can be able to blend in as soon as they know their letters and their sounds. Ways that you guys can help us with the high frequency words, those sight words, is playing games at home, kind of like what we do in here. But you have even more fun things to do. put the sight words on the boards, on the walls at home, and have them read it to you. You can play goldfish, you can let them write it on the board, on the concrete, build sight words with rocks, write it in the sand, build it with Play-Doh. This one is one of my favorite ones, that you put the words on the wall and they just flashlight the words as you're telling them. And the hitting the borders in here too. So those are fun things that they can do to be able to understand and like recognize the words right away. This is some of the assessments that we do. MAP is a computer assessment that they also do it 3 times a year. They're in their computers. There are about 45 questions, and as the questions get harder, the more they do better in the test. And it's a test that they're administered all students, and we have 4 teachers in there. And it tells us, like, you know, how well the student are doing based on instruction and where are their strengths and what are their needs. DIBELS is the assessments that we do. It's 5 categories, and it's 3 times a year. We did it just now. We're gonna do it in December. We will do it in May. And those are all fluency. It's each 5 categories, 1 minute each. How many letters can you say? How many words can you decode? The letter sounds, and then the phonemic awareness is like the chopping of the words, or the sounds they hear on the words. And then we have GKIDS, which is a state kindergarten inventory skills test. And this is ongoing. It's gonna be throughout the whole year. And we ask them, you know, all the questions, all the things that we've been learning in language art, math, science, and social studies.
Something about math. So math in kindergarten, especially each year, at the beginning, you know, that's, of course, when you start kindergarten in the assessment, they're not expected to know much, so their scores are sometimes are a little bit elevated. So sometimes in the middle of the year when we do the winter assessment, sometimes I'll get a call from a parent, or they'll get a message from a parent, why did my child go down? It's not supposed to go down from beginning to the middle of the year. And sometimes it's because of the scoring of the assessment itself. You don't always see that. And it probably won't be that much, but just know by the end of the year, it's called a RIT score. Usually goes up from there. So you can still give me a call, but that's usually what I tell parents is, you know, it's okay right now, because usually we'll go to the other assessment, the DIBELS assessment, and it's usually okay. So, but and if there's anything, if there are any issues or students falling behind, we usually will, you know, we always let parents know, and we work from there.
And we use all of these assessments as our data to make sure that they're grouped based on their skills and based on what is it that they need to do. One thing important about the GKIDS is just continually to work with your kids on numbers, decoding letters, all of that stuff. And then the one main important part about GKIDS is we want them to remember, and if you can teach your kids, like, what's your mom's name, what's your dad's name, your address, where you live, what is the name of your school, and things like that, because usually, like, you know, we try to teach them that they have to be able to say their mom's name, not like mommy. I'm like, what's your mom's name? Mommy. So we want to be able to have them, those skills already embedded for them, so they can continue to develop and get like prior knowledge to all of those things that we are exposing them to. And this is, like I said, all year long.
Okay, so these are some of our curricular resources for math. We use HMH that's our curriculum that we use for both reading and math. These are just some of the manipulatives and things that we use in the classroom. These are the books that we use during math. Some of them are teacher edition that we use, and then they also have student edition books. So for every module, they have a book that pertains to what we're also doing on the board that day. And then they're also required to have 20 minutes of IXL learning, which is on the computer. So in the past we did Waggle. We're no longer doing Waggle. If you were here last year in pre-K, I don't know if they did Waggle there or not, but it's no more. And then these are some of the things that we use for language arts and reading. Again, Bible is no more, so instead we're doing Lexia. Again, it's another technology resource that we're using in the classroom, and I believe they have to have 15 minutes each day on that. So it's only a matter of time. They're only with us for a short period of time. These are just some statistics for you to just look at, but they are away from school more than they are here at school. So the more that you're able to help out and have them practice the things that go home in their binders, their homework, that sort of thing, it really carries over here. And then again, homework. So we send home, or we will start to send home if we haven't already, weekly sight words. They're usually about 3 to 5, which is also on that other sheet that Ms. Tetler was talking about. It goes by modules. Reading for 20 minutes a night. Now, we know they're probably not reading at the moment, but it's important that they have a book in their hand, knowing how to turn the pages from left to right, knowing that words, when we read from left to right, that sort of thing. And then we also send home a packet of HMH workbook worksheets. They've already been coming home. They should have been already coming home.
We just finished module 1, so
Yeah.
module 1 should already be in your binders. And I know one thing about the homework that we have a lot of parents, they're like, I don't know the story. The story of each problem, it's in the bottom. So usually they should already know that when you read the story to them, they'll be able to represent the problem.
And the story's usually like, little Johnny sees 3 rabbits, and then circle them, like it's a very short sentence that just goes with each question. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this, but how can you help at home? Talking to your child about what they're learning in school is really helpful. Getting them talking to you, looking for clues or cues from your child. Language development, believe it or not, begins at home. So if you hear something like with their speech that doesn't necessarily sound right, let us know. That way we can go ahead and get all that started. Urge them to continue to ask questions. They're curious, they have a ton of questions. Just encourage them to ask them. Tell stories with your children. Read to your children. Take advantage of different languages. I know that we have some classes that are ESOL. So we do a lot of there is some speaking in Spanish and then also in English. So sometimes they might come home and, count in Spanish, because I know for my class, I have a student who speaks Spanish, and one way that we get him, excited and engaged is we count to 1 through 10 in English, and then we do it in Spanish. So if your children are coming home counting it in Spanish, that's probably why. And then addressing hearing loss early. So if you notice that your child maybe is having a difficult time hearing, responding to things, let us know so that we can go ahead and get those supports in place as well.
Oh, this is me. This is why it's so important to read at home, because if you read for 20 minutes, the green, they'll get a million words. If you're only reading for 5 minutes, they're still going to get a lot of words, but not as many. 1 minute a day, they're only going to get 8,000 extra words. So just being exposed to it, even if it's the same book over and over, they're still going to pick up on things. And then we have the behavior expectation, we call it the pause. We say our bullpup pledge every morning. Have a positive attitude, so the magical yet. I may not be able to do it now. I can't do it yet, but I will be able to. I'm going to learn this year. The act responsibly, that's the making the good choices. The work hard, make sure you're doing your work, not talking to your friends. And then the showing respect, that's kind of obvious. And then we also have the Boys Town. And you'll see some of these, if you're walking through the building, these posters are up on the walls. It's very explicit. And it's great because it's not just school skills, it's life skills. How to greet someone, make sure you do eye contact. That is one really hard one for our friends. They like to talk to you while going like this. So it's like, nope, you gotta look at me and you talk to me. And then accepting no politely. So if somebody says no, it's not, it's, oh, okay, I'll ask again in a little bit. But it's all very explicit, very step by step. And then here's our supply list, which has gone home a couple of times. These are donations. We use cardstock and construction paper constantly, tissue paper, paper plates, all sorts of stuff. And then, make sure they have a snack every day. A lot of my friends are forgetting their snack, and yes, most of us have a emergency supply, but I have the same kids asking for a snack from me every day, and they don't have that many. And also, try to make a healthy one, like the spicy things, not the best snack for school. So like graham crackers, goldfish, fruit, anything like that is great. We don't have a lot of time for snack, because we're still teaching while they're eating their snacks. We don't have a separate time. Most of us do it during science. And then our water bottle, they need to bring a water bottle every day. It's been very, very hot outside. And only water. We've had friends bringing in juice. When you spill it, it makes a really big mess, and it's very sticky and not very fun to clean up. But water's easier to clean up, and water's better for them. And thanks for coming.
So Mr. Fraser had to step out, but he is going to provide these, it's like, they call it like the ES like Bible, has everything that you might need with the QR code. So if you're not, well, if you need them, it's not up here for you, but you can get when they're available for sure. But it's, he said for sure that you need to make sure everything's updated on the parent portal, and that's like right here. So after you do that, then you can go into Parent Square. But the most important thing with the parent portal, just update your address, emergency contacts, email, any new phone numbers. So if you need this to help as a a guide to be able to do all these things, everything is on here, and you just scan it. So all the codes are right here. So if you need this, it's right here. We have it in English and in Spanish.